Hello. Today I want to talk a little bit about the canon. There was years ago some debate for the Women's Theater Festival that there wasn't a pipeline for women. And my response has always been that's women aren't about pipes. Women have been writing plays as long as men have been writing plays. They just haven't been published or produced nearly as much. And so when I'm directing a play written by a man, there's a lot of reference material. Actually, you can Google things and look things up. There's actual reference material, but then there's also just an understanding socially about what the male story is. We all know it, we all live it, so archetypally it's already happening, and so there's a known point of reference for just about every male play there is. So for a female play, there's so much that is unknown. And I think this is true of any kind of minority, any unheard or stifled voice. Then here's the issue as a producer and a director, as you sort of have to write an encyclopedia of what's really going on before you can riff on it on stage the way the male canon is allowed to riff. So that's different, and so it needs to be acknowledged as something that is different and needs to be treated that way. And for me, it's the structure might be different. The risks taken can be very different. I hope that they will be. The experience of being born female is a very unique and specific experience. And connecting those stories is an important thing. And without that connection, without understanding 50% of the voices, we're at a big loss. And so I still think we're at a huge deficit right now in terms of women and plays written by women. More and more it's slowly being done, but it's also tokenism still. It's not mainstream. The main big funded houses are doing known male dominated work. So it remains an issue, and it's hard to move beyond the issue because it hasn't been resolved. So it needs to be resolved. And I know, because I've produced 70 plays that empower women. I've given about 1,000 opportunities, and it's a very interesting exploration. You have to stay wide open. I'm always curious to know where this writer is at. And there's not as much easy work. There's not as much dramaturgically that you can just say, oh, this references that, A lot of times you have to dive into the experiential aspect of it. And I just think it's been missing. It continues to be missing. And the Women's Voices Festival in DC did not solve it. I think in many ways it made it a lot worse because it tokenized it and checked off the box. So what we need is integration across the board. For all minorities. We need less white men. No offense, white men, but it's just not even interesting anymore. And that's my take on it. There are more diverse voices that really need to be heard. And they've been writing. I mean, you can look at Sappho. It hasn't been honored or established, and many of them have already been erased. It's not that women haven't learned how to write plays. Just wanted to make that clear. That's my point for today. Thanks.